Hi, it's Kip Bates here, and today's video was inspired by a question from Narcis Gabrielescu about how NFTs actually work. And the best I've managed to do is come up with an analogy, which is that in order to create non-fungible tokens, you need to have a non-fungible token minting contract. And that contract on Ethereum has to be ERC 721 compliant, which means it needs to match a standard so that other developers can interact with it. And you can view that NFT minting contract like creating a gallery. It's an expensive one-off process, and then you have your gallery with its bare walls. So at this moment you've just got the framework that allows you to now mint NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And once you've paid that upfront cost and you have your gallery, you can start minting tokens. And each token minting exercise has a smaller cost than creating the gallery in the first place. And you can view the minting of a token as taking a section of the wall and hanging a picture on it and putting a label underneath it saying who owns that picture. And your gallery, because it's in the digital space, can be as large as you like. You can mint 1 token or 100 tokens or 100,000 or 1,000,000 tokens. Each token, because it's a non-fungible token, is a single entity in the gallery and it's unique. Now, some of the tokens can look very similar to other tokens, but each token gets something called an index. So the first token that you mint would be token number 1 in the gallery, the next one would be token number 2, and so on. Like when you go to a museum or a gallery, they have numbers next to the pictures. So there'll be the first picture in the gallery and the second picture in the gallery and so on. And that is basically how a non-fungible token minting contract works and what each of the tokens are. So the tokens are kept track of within the token minting contract. So we can now look at what actually happens in the field, and you can go and create your own contract and pay the fairly hefty price of deploying it, say on Ethereum, or you can go to a third-party service provider who have already deployed their contract, i.e. built their gallery, and pay them a small fee, part of which will cover the cost of minting a token, and part of it will be the profit that this third party expects in order to provide the service. And you can go and look at places like Mintable or OpenSea, who have these contracts available. And Zora is another one that I can think of off the top of my head. And that means that you'll have all these different tokens that have been created, in quotes, by different people, because actually they've been created for them, not by them. They often integrate with a website to provide a front end so that people can view them and make offers on buying them, and so on and so forth. But that's really it. That's how it works. If you've got the concept of the minting contract being a gallery and each token being a picture on a specific slot in the wall with a number and an owner associated with it, that's how the NFT program ecosystem works. And of course, just as with a gallery, if you go in and make an offer on a painting or a picture and your offer is accepted, then the label saying who owns that painting is changed for your name. In the NFT contract, the address registered in the contract as owning that particular token will be changed to your address. So that's basically how it works. Ask any questions below if it's not entirely clear, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.